energy forecast for Friday, February 10th. So today we have the moon in Libra all day, which is a very favorable aspect, seeing as Venus rules over Libran energy and rules over Fridays. So we have Venus on our side, really showing us where we want to be a little bit more social, where we really want to enjoy ourselves a little bit more, kind of go with the flow, relax a little bit, and really just kind of do whatever it is that we can do to create a little bit of happiness, joy, pleasure in our lives. Definitely not a bad vibe at all. However, today is the last day of Mercury being in Capricorn energy, which is definitely going to bring in intensity. We are pressurized to kind of wrap up the life lessons that Mercury being in Capricorn was supposed to teach us. If you need to go back and listen to that, go back to December of 2022 when Mercury first moved into Capricorn energy. Of course, we went retrograde December 29th in this Capricorn energy. And then on January 18th, we went direct. So we've had a very long time of Mercury being in Capricorn. The positives of this is that it is the manifesting energy. We have been thinking about our long-term goals. We have been thinking about the roles and responsibilities that we need to boss up into. We have been thinking about the systems, foundations, structures needed in our lives in order to break free from some of the circumstances that aren't so favorable now, and of course, what it is that we're trying to build towards as far as a future reality goes. The not so nice aspects of that, of course, is that negative Nancy narrative, that tunnel vision, focused on limitations, blocks, challenges. Hasn't been a very fun time in our mental plane. We're definitely going to feel the shift when we move into that Aquarian energy. Go ahead, listen to that astro forecast in order to figure out what it is that we're going to be experiencing once we leave the weight, the heaviness of this earthy Capricorn energy behind. So there are 7 different aspects here today. 6 of them involve the moon. The moon is going to bump into Saturn in not the nicest way. Saturn rules over the Capricorn energy, mind you. Yes, he is in Aquarian energy, his other rulership. And this particular energy isn't really going to feel good because we are recognizing where it is that we're not feeling so safe and secure and stable in our emotions, especially when it comes to realizing our to-do list, when it comes to the power and control that we have to boss up and actually stand in order to take the control and power back in our lives. And it is definitely going to kind of dampen the mood that the Libran energy tries to keep light and fluffy. We try to stay in the shallow end of our emotions in Libran energy. And Saturn is a restrictor. He comes with a lot of weight, a lot of accountability, a lot of responsibility. And in this Aquarian energy, we've been focused on the boundaries that are needed in order to protect ourselves, in order to do what is right by us, because we have been illuminated over the last year and a half, very, very pressurized in illuminating where it is that our social expectations, our social responsibilities, where it is that we compromise our own wants, needs, and desires in order to do what we think other people want us to do, and where it is that we have to change that particular narrative up if we stand a chance in hell of actually aligning with our own path and staying real and raw and authentic with our own individual wants, needs, and desires. So yeah, we start off the day with a little bit of weight. The moon is going to trine Mars, though, and this is going to bring us out of it. Mars is that feisty energy ruling over our physical energy, our passion, our desires, our inspirations, our motivations, and even our anger if need be. And of course, Mars is in Gemini energy, in air sign. The moon is in Libra, in air sign. And what we have here is some brand new thoughts, some brand new narratives. We are overriding that heaviness that Saturn brought in with something better. We are pushing ourselves to focus on the positive outcomes. We are ready to kind of boss up to the challenge of new roles and responsibilities. We're ready to take that on. We do not feel pressurized. We feel inspired at this point, and technically speaking, we are rearing to go. The moon is going to oppose Chiron, though, and this is definitely going to bring us down a couple of pegs. Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries energy. Libra and Aries sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. Emotionally speaking, we have to acknowledge where it is that we're not feeling so happy. We're not feeling so positive. Now, granted, we just took a huge step forward in our inner realm with motivations and inspirations and positive narratives and focus with that moon trining Mars. However, every single time we take a huge leap forward in the positive direction, that dark force energy kicks in order to pull us on back. This is definitely going to create a lot of fears, a lot of doubts, and because we're in Libran energy, a lot of indecision. We are definitely on the fence. Should I stay? Should I go? What should I do? What is the right decision? What feels good? What do I think makes the most sense? We're definitely going to be at odds, and we're going to illuminate where it is that we're not feeling so comfy, where it is that we're not feeling so stable. The moon is going to bump into Uranus in not the nicest way, really adding to the mental confusion, the emotional confusion. Instead of having a breakthrough, we may have a little bit of an emotional breakdown. But let me also just say that this is kind of building towards a very important aspect taking place 12:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mercury, who is in the very final chaotic, crisis, Antarctic degree of Capricorn energy, is going to bump into, conjunct, team up with Pluto, who's at the final degrees of Capricorn energy as well. Pluto, the great transformer himself, is about to do a number on our mental plane. So what can we expect? First of all, we can expect some very, very intense pressure in our mental plane. Why? Because our mental activity is just hitting that ceiling. It is bouncing all over the place. Why? Because we're trying to gain clarity. Why? Because we need to move forward, but we don't feel confident enough to move forward, and we feel like we're missing some details and missing some information. So what does that mean? Well, now we're on a quest because we feel like there are details missing from our, I'm going to say, plate of information that has a dramatic impact on the choices in which we're trying to make. And now we're on a quest to kind of investigate. We're trying to kind of get to the truth. We're trying to unearth why we're not feeling so positive, why we're actually feeling a little bit paranoid. A lot of this, again, is very heavily weighted because this is Capricorn energy. And Capricorn energy can go from very positive outlook for the future to very paranoid, very catastrophe focused in a split second. Pluto is here to illuminate the darkness, the shadow realm, the not so nice thoughts and feelings in order for us to flip the script and stand in our power and turn that pain into a source of power, turn that darkness into a source of light. But of course, we have to do some digging in order to see what it is that's actually cluster effing us up in our psyche, preventing us from actually having a positive outlook. This is going to be dramatic. And also, let me just say, if for some reason you receive information or details or a really crazy storyline coming at you here today, try not to react because you're not getting the full picture. You are lacking a lot of information. And let me tell you, if you react to the information coming at you today without the full picture, the full scope of what's going on, you are going to make a shit show of a situation that you are going to have to clean up, and you are likely going to have to apologize over if you act out on impulse to the information coming in, because the information is not legit, it is not in its fullest form, and it is meant to provoke you in all the wrong ways. So that is your warning. However, we only sit in this funk for maybe 3-4 hours. The moon goes ahead, bumps into Venus. Venus rules over this Libran energy, so this should be interesting. Venus is in her rulership here on Friday. She is in Pisces energy. This particular interaction is not the most favorable because our heart, our head, we're questioning things, right? We just came out of that Mercury and Pluto aspect. We're feeling a little bit paranoid. We don't feel like we are receiving the truth, especially in our personal relationships. We don't really want to deal with this situation. We're in the Pisces mode right now, of detaching, of avoiding. We don't want any confrontation. We're trying to keep things light and fluffy. However, the situation that is popping off requires us to deal with life as it is, as it's coming. And the information that we're receiving, although we shouldn't act upon it, we do have to kind of investigate and kind of get down to the nitty-gritty truth. And it doesn't feel good because neither the moon in Libra wants to go into this extreme. We're trying to achieve peace and harmony and balance here. And Venus in Pisces, she definitely just wants to keep those rose-colored glasses on and focus on, the fantasy, imaginary version of her reality. She definitely doesn't want to deal with a cold, hard truth. She doesn't want to deal with a reality check at all. And that's exactly what we're kind of being prepared for, because her being in this Pisces energy, we have to close the door on some relationships, on some soul contracts before she enters into Aries energy and starts fresh again. The last aspect that we have here today is the moon in Libra, trining, which is a beautiful energy, with the sun, who is in Aquarian energy. Again, some air on air action. Now, we yesterday had some not so nice interactions between the moon and the sun, because the sun, of course, shining a bright light on where it is that we want to go in this Aquarian energy, the possibilities that await us if we were just to catch a vision and actually invoke the emotion needed in order to get on the same page and actually be able to take action to manifest it. However, the moon in Libra was fresh in this Libran energy and really just didn't really want to focus that far into the future. We just wanted to kind of sit in the present moment and find the peace and the harmony and the balance and the stability in the here and now. However, it didn't work out so well. But here today, we are not only finding a grounded point in our emotions in the here and now, but we are so grounded, we are so optimistic, we are so confident that now we are allowing the sun in Aquarius to really show us where it is that we need to go from here. And the logical, practical intellect is really shining through in its most positive state with the moon in Libra in this particular aspect, which means that we're able to actually strategize the plan that is needed in order to actually take those initial steps and moving forward and building the kind of system, foundation, structure that is 100% needed to house the dreams of our vision that the Aquarian energy is now inspiring us to pursue.